Hey everyone, and welcome to another Game Explained discussion. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined today by Grant Smith of TFS Gaming and Corinne Megame33 Sudberg of Team 4-Star to discuss the latest Pokémon Sun and Moon trailer and give our thoughts on all of these crazy reveals. So let's get started. Alright, so we have the group together finally, all three of us, all these crazy Pokemon fans.
Made it!
Woo! And what a trailer to do that with, because...
yeah, holy cow.
Jeez, did they show a lot. So, real quick, Grant, general impressions of this trailer.
That was quite the info dump on, like, this is like the trailer I feel like, you know, the fans would want, like, almost from the get-go, because, like, whenever you see a starter, one of your first thoughts is, like, I wonder what it's going to turn into. And then, usually in that is, like, man, I wonder, like, what kind of league stuff is going on. And they, like, just threw both of that at you, kind of, like, right out front, like, right up front with this one. And then, like, all the cool Guardian stuff. Like, there was so much interesting stuff in this. And, like, I've really only had the time to watch it once, so I haven't, like, gotten to, like, look through and, like, try and see if there's anything, like, hidden in the backgrounds or, like, you know, other stuff that jumps out at me, but all of the stuff that's just right up front with this has been great, and I really liked it.
What about you, Corinne?
I mean, pretty much the same. Everybody likes seeing new Pokemon and, like, getting to see all the Guardians for the first time, plus some little mysteries like the Cosmog. What is it called?
Yeah, Cosmog, yeah.
Yeah, and then just confirming what everybody's final evolutions are going to be, which I'm happy with mine.
Yeah, I am too, because we have the same one, so...
Yeah, high five!
Woo! So, I know, and actually, I know Grant's happy with his, because you were a Litten fan from the beginning, and...
yeah, I've always been a, you know, Fire-type starter guy, and then there were so many rumors of, like, it's gonna be firefighting again! They did it! They did it again! Like, all the complaints, they've ignored it completely! And then, like, you know, images started leaking out, and I was like, oh man, that does look suspicious! But then Fire Dark, my two favorite types, like, wrapped up in one, and a starter, no less. Like, I am all about that. And he's a heel! Like, just so good!
He's called the heel Pokemon. That is amazing.
Yeah, I noticed that too. But, like, he's such a... I mean, it's obviously he's a wrestler, so it is kind of weird that they just suddenly kind of just went like, oh, it's dark, not fighting.
Yeah, I can't help but think, like, you know, like, I don't know how far back they designed Pokemon, but at some point they design Incineroar, and they're like, yeah, this will be cool. And then it's like, we're just in. People seem to hate these firefighting starters. Like, we need to do something. They're like, oh, geez, well, all right, then what if he's dark?
Yeah, that makes
He's a mean wrestler.
Yeah, he'll mess you up. But no, Primarina, I love this thing. I mean, the funny thing is, we've seen hints of these starters since the Chinese leak, so it's not like they're a huge surprise. It's just sort of a confirmation. But my god, Primarina is adorable.
She's so cool, and I read more of her entry on the website, and it's very interesting, like, how much she actually does, like, singing and stuff like that with combat. Basically, if anybody has seen the website, that she uses her voice to basically control all the balloons that she makes from, like, bubble and stuff, and then uses them as attacks and stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty cool how much control she has, and they talked about how different groups have different songs, and it's all really fascinating. The only problem with Primarina is that I kind of wanted to have Mimikyu on my team, but I don't want to double up on fairy types, so now I gotta think, and it also kind of messes with my idea of having Alolan Ninetales on my team. It's like, man, there's so many fairy types that I want on my team this time around. What the heck?
It's like I said last time, they just needed to dump all the fairies, because, like, fairy typing was so small when they brought it, and now it's just like, now we gotta bring up more fairies.
I feel like they do that, like, every time they introduce a type. Like, when Dark and Steel first happened, it's like, there's, like, 2-3 Steel types, so if you, like, want this, like, you're gonna have these very specific needs. But then, like, next go around, it's like, here's a ton of them. Like, just go nuts.
But actually, what's actually kind of cool is all three of them have signature moves. So, actually, let's go ahead and get into, oh god, this name, Decidueye?
Decidueye.
Oh my god, yeah, when I saw that, I was like,
It's deciduous and I.
Oh!
I see.
I
no,
see
I knew it was playing off of something, but it was still like, how do I even start?
Yeah, it's weird to look at, but as soon as I was like, oh yeah, deciduous as in like deciduous trees, as in trees that naturally grow in a place.
I'm sure young children won't have difficulty at all with this name.
To be fair, I only know that word because it was like a 3rd grade vocab word. There's no reason I would know it now.
Okay, well.
So.
Well, there we go. No, this thing looks cool. Having like a type of Robin Hood Pokemon, that's really neat.
And it's Grass Ghost. Who saw that coming? Like,
not
me.
me.
That was a bit of a shock, actually.
Like, as soon as I saw Rowlet, I was like, all right, Grass Flying. Like, that's what its final's gonna be. Like, just check that one off. Like, I know that one's type. Done. Like,
then curveball.
Like, this trailer happens, and I'm just like, my mind was blown.
I like it though. I mean, I'm always
that's great.
Ghost types are great, and to see, like having a ghost starter is kinda crazy.
It's so weird because I keep like in the back of my mind somewhere, my brain still thinks Incineroar is a fighting type, and I keep going, it's too bad half of Incineroar's stab moves won't be able to affect it. But I'm like, wait, no, he's dark. They're super effective. That's great.
Yeah, no, Incineroar will destroy Decidueye.
Yeah.
In multiple ways, but actually what's kind of cool is it does have a signature move which is called Spirit Shackle, and apparently any opponent hit with it cannot flee or switch out. The question I have is this just another name for Mean Look, or does it actually damage them? And I think it damages them based on the trailer. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, with how the trailer looks, it looks like it hurts.
Yeah, because with they actually used Mean Look during that Nico demo, that stream that they did, and the Pokemon didn't flinch at all. They didn't really react. They just sort of stood there and the eyes appeared over them. With Spirit Shackle, they react as if they're getting hit. So it's kind of an offensive Mean Look, which is pretty interesting, I think.
What I really liked about this Pokemon is there was just so many details to it, especially when you watch it like actually shoot an arrow. Like, it's using different parts of itself, like basically the vines from like its little hoodie as like the string. And then the quill, I guess it gets from, like, underneath its wing. It's got, like, several little orange quills under its wing that it uses as an arrow. So just, like, seeing little animated details like that is just really creative.
There is a lot of, like, I feel like the as far as, like, animations, Decidueye definitely got the most love and attention. Because those same strings that you were talking about, when it pulls down on it during Pokemon Refresh, it actually tightens its hood.
Yeah, I saw that.
So he really is kind of
wearing.
He actually is wearing a hoodie. It's kind of amazing.
I don't know if anything has ever used that before, where it's like a hooded archer, and he's like, "Yeah, my drawstrings are also my bowstring."
I guess the closest I can think of is Scrafty, because he kind of has like a hood, but he barely actually puts it on.
Yeah,
that's true.
That weird like extra layer of skin that's just like there.
But I'm definitely interested in him probably the most for animation-wise in the new show. Because there's going to be a lot to do with his character.
That would be cool.
That'll look really good. And then we, of course, move back to Incineroar. And real quick, I just want to bring up the name. The name. I've seen a couple people already say that the name is kind of lazy because we already had Pyroar last gen.
I kind of thought that too. they ran out of fire terms. I mean, it does sound pretty badass if you're like, go Incineroar! I mean, it kind of sounds cool, but like,
the thing is, like, as a kid, I would always, like, name my Pokemon, like, super tough, like, especially the fire starters, since that's always what I use. It'd be like, Firestorm, Flame Destruction. Like, Incineroar sounds like something 12-year-old Grant would be like, yeah, that's so rad!
Are you sure they didn't interview you before they made this Pokemon?
I know.
Yeah, right.
It feels like it was made for me, and that's why I'm so psyched. Like, and there are so many people who I know are going to be upset because there have been so many pictures floating around of people, you know, taping Litten's feet to the floor, going like, "Please stay four-legged this time." But once again, we have a bipedal monstrosity of a fire type. But I'm cool with it. I like it. Great. It's special move where it just ignores stat changes, like that is also something I'd totally be down with, because I am usually not a stat changing move kind of guy. So just being able to be like, nope, it's like you didn't use them at all. Like, just great.
That is really cool. I love its little profile on the Pokemon website, how it says it will sometimes even launch attacks that strike the opposing trainer, and as a result, people tend to dislike this Pokemon and keep it at a distance. And it'll get pumped up by crowds, and if the crowd's not with it, it'll start making mistakes and whatnot. I was like, I totally see this thing just being like a cat and wrestling. It's amazing, just like from a imagination standpoint.
Nah, yeah, like as far as being like, you know, like whatever the opposite of buyer's remorse is, when I said from the get-go I'd be taking Litten, like I'm just like, nope, every turn this thing has gotten better and better and I'm more into it.
That is great. And now we have Primarina, which, I mean, we already talked about a little bit, Corinne, but what do you think of its signature move, Sparkling Aria?
At first I wasn't sure, but like now that I realize that most of these special signatures are also attacks, I think it's really cool. I just don't know when its ability for like curing burns is really going to help, but I guess if you have like, I don't usually do double team battles, but I guess it could be helpful in a double team situation.
The only other like situation I could see it being good is ability Guts or whatever, where their attack stat goes way up if they're burned, and just being like, nope, you don't get that. But that's like the only other way I could see that being useful.
It seems so specific. I mean, it would be nice for double battles if you had another water Pokemon for some reason, and it had that ability to like either increase stats or heal itself when it hit by a water move. I'm not sure if that's a thing, but
I mean, surprisingly, water Pokemon do get easily burned despite their typing, so I guess it would make sense that they would have that ability.
That is true. It does seem so weird. Like, I read that, I was like, I'm trying to read that again. It's like, wait, it heals the opponent? Like, or whenever it hits, I guess. But it still seems weird that I would want to heal the opponent for whatever reason other than, I guess, the guts.
I guess it's showing more that it's a very, like, kind of Pokemon. I mean, in the Pokedex that we've seen on the website, there's not too many, like, a lot of these Pokemon have, like, terrible things about them, but it seems like this one's just very kind and gentle, so maybe it's just kind of like it shares, it heals people and stuff like that, so I guess you could see it in that way.
That is true. That would make sense.
It could also be like if you're like, I really want to put this thing to sleep, but it's too busy being burned.
I don't want to accidentally kill this thing, so let's heal it quick. Yeah, those are the start evolutions, and I do feel like this generation has some really strong starters the entire way through.
Agreed.
Yeah, like not since I think Diamond and Pearl have I liked all three starters so much. Mm-hmm. I think that was the last gen that all three starters I was like really into, and like these ones, like if for some reason the law came down and they're like, Grant, you are not allowed to pick Lit, and I'd be like, all right, cool, well, Rowlet seems rad as hell. And then like if they were like, you can't do that either, I'm like, that's fine. Popplio's whole line is still cool. Like, just you can't get me down.
I'm too good. But let's go ahead and move on to the Guardian Deity Pokemon, which I was surprised they showed all four of them. Well, the remaining three, I suppose I should say. And the first one up on the Pokemon website is Tapu Bulu, and it's a Grass Fairy type. So, what do you guys think of this? I guess Bull Guardian Deity.
I mean, he's pretty interesting. He was more interesting when I read more about him than just seeing him. Mm-hmm. But I thought what was really interesting, because I saw both the English trailer and the Japanese trailer, is that you get to see all the Guardians in their shell form. And what's really cool about Blue is like you get to see like his form, and it looks like basically like the head of a bison or something like that.
Mm-hmm. That's a really cool touch.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, I mean, he seems pretty cool. Pretty much like a brute attacker. We saw, like, attacks like Hornleech and Woodhammer, I think, in, like, one or two of the trailers. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, he seems like a fun Pokemon.
For me, the Guardians have kind of, like just been in this weird space where I think they're cool, but, like, I still, like, feel like I know next to nothing, like, really about them. Even though I feel like they've kind of like shown, especially Tapu Koko, or the electric one, mm-hmm. Whose name I always mispronounce. Even though I feel like they've shown them off and they're like clearly integral to like the story and like the plot and stuff. Like I like all their designs. I think they all look cool, but it's at the same time I like also feel like weirdly like just sort of like emotionless towards them. I'm like, yeah, that's neat. Like those are cool, the Pokemon. Like I'm down to find them. Cool to catch them. I know they're gonna be interesting plot relevant stuff, but like. At the same time, I do not feel myself getting, like, particularly hyped over any of them. But Bulu definitely has a cool design. Like, I love the bull aesthetic. And I haven't seen the shell form yet, but that does sound cool with the bison head.
But, yeah, I do agree with you, Grant. Like, I'm trying to push myself to get interested in these things, but, like, yeah, like...
Their designs are just so, like kind of off the wall compared to other Pokemon designs. It's like kind of weird for me to like get super into them. And like I'm sure once I'm like seeing them more, like just in battle or like encountering them myself.
And like the story too, like we don't know the true story yet. And then they'll make a movie with all 4 of these guys and talk nothing about them.
Yes, it's true.
Every time they do these movies and talk about a legendary, they barely like talk anything about these things. And I kind of want to learn more about them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people don't want to know that. Why would they want to know that?
Come on.
It is kind of interesting how each of the Tapus have a different kind of surge move. Like with Bulu, it's Grassy Surge, which apparently, it boosts grass type moves and it restores a bit of HP, and also has like moves like Earthquake, Magnitude, and Bulldoze, which it seems pretty useful. That's the thing about these guys. Like I can't see them using on my team, but I can see these guys getting used competitively pretty easily.
Yeah, their abilities are all very interesting.
So I will say though, my favorite of the Tapus is by far Tapu Lele. That thing is adorable.
She is a cutie, and I really like that her like field changing ability as like a. Like it says something like the battlefield got weird. Like it just it's weird. Like the other like like Bulu like says like a grassy something, and like the Feeny is like a watery da da da. Like the electric one specifies electricity, but for psychic it's just like I don't know. It's weird. Like I guess I don't know how you describe how the ground just got psychic.
Yeah, like something's not right here. Keep battling.
The Earth is all psychic-y, I guess.
See what happens.
I was trying to figure out what Lele kind of is, though. Is she like a hermit crab, or like?
I was thinking hermit crab, or kind of like a snail.
A snail? Yeah.
Yeah, I saw snail when I looked at it, but
yeah, I think when I saw it closed, it kind of resembled a snail, which is kind of odd that I find the snail the cutest one.
Snail senpai, notice me, please.
And Feeny, I think that's more like just a regular clam, or I guess.
I think she's my favorite, Feeny.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think when she closes up, she kind of looks like a fish or maybe a dolphin.
That is true.
Because I heard rumors about there being a dolphin Pokemon, but I don't know if this is referring to it. But
I have trouble seeing people getting this mixed up with a dolphin. Like it resembles one, but I'm not sure if I'd look at that and be like, oh, that's a dolphin.
No, yeah, I completely agree. But it's some type of fish-looking thing. But her story was like the most interesting in the website, actually.
Mm-hmm.
She seems to be more of like the angriest one out of all the Guardians. Like, really doesn't like people. And I don't know if this will be involved in the game, but apparently there's this thing that they use to scare away humans called Tapa Fog.
Oh.
Which is a type of fog that they spray to confuse or put people in a trance so they don't find the Guardians. And Tapu Fini does this a lot because apparently it can make this special water that like can heal or like make your body like feel amazing, but you gotta prove yourself in order to get that. So it sprays this fog around, I guess, to test people.
Huh.
So I'm wondering if all the Guardians can do this type of foggish thing, and if it's gonna be actually in the story somewhat.
Maybe. I mean, it's. I love the sort of mythology behind these guys more than anything else. And honestly, the Misty Surge sounds pretty devastating in the right conditions.
Yeah.
Like having the damage from dragon type moves, preventing them being afflicted with status conditions and confusion. Like, holy crap! Like you could destroy dragons with this thing.
Like I said, I think this one's the harsher out of all the Guardians, so...
Yep. But I will say real quick, I gotta get this little thing in, because a long time ago, back when the Oricorios were revealed, come out and said that I think that the remaining islands would be Ula Ula and Pony Island. And damn if I wasn't right, and I don't want to gloat too much, but...
Yay!
It feels good when I can find out like that worked... I got something right.
Yes, we did agree on that, actually, yeah.
Yeah, that felt pretty good. I still think you're like, I saw the other explanation for your explanation of a Alolan Dugtrio, but I still think you're onto something with those Menehune, Corinne.
It could be an interesting combination of the two, but who knows? But that theory does make a lot of sense. I had no idea about the the hair, the blonde hair being like glass shards made from volcanic rock. And that also makes sense because Dugtrio's body, is very like darkish, almost like volcanic rock. Mm-hmm. So that would make sense if it is also the typing could be ground fire. But then that would be pretty bad for it with all the damage and stuff.
That's true, but it would also be it'd be pretty much like a fast camera up, which would be pretty wild.
True, yeah.
Yeah, that would be intense.
Did you hear about like Persian though?
Yeah, well, we saw Persian finally.
And how everybody was going crazy about how ugly and stupid it looks with its fat face.
Look, if you've got such a problem with Garfield, you can tell him.
Well, the thing that I love is like everybody was talking about how ugly this thing is, and in the Pokemon description, it's a symbol of the rich and is held to be a Pokemon of great beauty. Like, it's exquisite coat and all this, like talk about how it's spoiled. So apparently, the Alolans love Persian.
I mean, I don't think it looks that bad. I think he looks kind of cuddly, but apparently they're very mean anyway. So,
so it is Garfield.
Yeah.
I saw a fan comic that was just Alolan Meowth and regular Meowth, and like Alolan Meowth is like super popular and cool in like elementary school and everyone likes it, and then it's like regular Persian, Alolan Persian. Now the roles have been switched in like high school, and like Alolan Persian is like, please be my friend.
I did see that.
I saw that one, yeah.
That was so good, but yeah, Alolan Persian, I'm not sure, I've never really used the Meowth or Persian line, but it's interesting, but it would be kind of funny to see like Persian as Garfield and maybe like Rockruff as Odie. I am actually kind of surprised they decided to show Persian and not Diglett and Dugtrio.
Yeah, that is surprising actually, with how they are. They are already at least Dugtrio already confirmed to exist with the demo.
I still can't find the event for it though, so
I haven't either.
Yeah, it's so random, but I have heard from several people, and I mean, it's Sarah B confirmed, so
it's not just a Japanese exclusive on their side. It's just somewhere random in the demo.
Yeah, it shows up on that beach in 10 Carat Hill, and
I've been going every day, and I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I don't get it. I really don't. But I mean, we know it's. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed, so it's not like fake. But I'm not sure how it all works out. Huh. But, the last new Pokemon they showed off is Cosmog, which, boy, they are getting good at the adorable.
Super cute.
Really, this thing is so adorable.
Never has something so shrouded in mystery been so adorable.
Well, it definitely seems like it's going to be an iconic Pokemon for the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with, like, several pictures in the trailer of you, like, rescuing it from Spearow. And, in the website, it says that the Aether Foundation is studying it.
Yes. Well, for me, that like when our hands are in time, that at least Andre and Ash were able to play the first 2 hours. They saw what the Pokemon in Lily's bag was, and based on that scene on the bridge and the fact that Lily shows up, this is the Pokemon that's hiding in Lily's bag that you saw during E3.
I wonder if this is what's in her bag.
Yep, this is that Pokemon. So it definitely has a major role to play in the story. What that role is, I'm not quite sure.
It could be something, obviously, maybe connecting to the legendaries.
I'm going to throw out my crazy prediction. Like, looking at it, it's got like the kind of like ring around it. I feel like is weirdly reminiscent of the like more kind of mechanical look of the Ultra Beasts. And I want this to be like something that like after you raise it, like defends you from an Ultra Beast attack or something, and is like a dramatic like this is your Ultra Beast, like canon Ultra Beast buddy. It like turns into that or something.
That would be wild.
Just how mysterious and weird it is, and how everything about the Ultra Beasts is mysterious and weird, and have that connection sort of to the Aether Foundation. Like, I can see all of those threads colliding.
I would see that, yeah. Like, I predict it's some type of calling, like some type of creature that was sent here, and then, like, I guess it's gonna call upon either the legendaries or maybe the beasts. One or the other.
That could be. I'm going to go with my own little prediction, and the Pokemon website mentions, once again, it says at one time it was known only by the kings of Alola and their heirs, and it was called the Child of the Stars. So, They've mentioned the kings and this history of Alola quite a bit with several of the Pokemon, and we know it's connected to Lily. And there's that sort of resemblance between Lily, Lucamine, and Gladion. I wonder if these guys, they're like the remnants of the royal family. And then we also got that mention of the royal family as well, or kind of, with Kahili, I believe her name was now.
Kahili?
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Kahili,
yeah.
What if she ends up looking kind of like these? I wonder if that's sort of like the look of the royal family, or the descendants of the royal family.
They're all cotton puffs.
There you go. I love the kind of mystery this thing brings, but...
and it's just so cute!
Yeah, that helps too. So, what's not a mystery, though, is that we finally got to look at what the post-game's going to be like. I think this is where a lot of people are split on the trailer, because... I'll say this right now, when they showed off Cynthia and they showed off Wally, I'm like, oh, that's really cool, and that we'll see these characters again, and Wally even has kind of a redesign where he looks older. That's really neat. Man, wouldn't it be cool if Red and Blue showed up at some point? And then immediately,
yeah.
It's like, Pokemon, you already got me enticed enough, then you show off these guys. I'm like, I'm so split on this, because it's awesome that they're there, but I'm like, am I upset that they revealed this so already? You know, that it's not just a cool surprise.
Any feeling of that should have been saved for me to just discover in the game was erased when I heard that, Blue remix theme, like just the I was like, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, oh, I'm in. Like, you got me again, Pokemon.
Honestly, it's hard to be surprised anymore. Like, I mean, I am surprised, but like, just the fact that you have to hide anything until you get the games to be surprised, I mean, that's pretty much gone now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care anymore. Like, I'm sure I'll still find surprises, but I want to find out any information I can. And knowing that this is the 20th anniversary, they're pulling all the stops. So this makes a lot of sense that these two are in here too.
Oh, totally. I would love if not just Red and Blue came back, but all of the previous trainers that you could play as.
Can't wait to rematch Silver.
Yeah. Man, get Silver back in there, get Gold back in here. Oh, man, I'd love it. Love to see all that. But it's actually kind of interesting how this whole thing works, is that apparently you battle them first. Like, they put, for example, Cynthia and Wally. And once you defeat them, you can use them as partners in double battles in the battle tree.
I mean, who wouldn't pick Cynthia? She's the champion of Sinnoh. I mean,
Cynthia's
I would pick her every. I think I would pick her every time.
Yeah, I would certainly pick her over Wally.
It's like, gee, Wally, I don't know. I mean, Cynthia is the champion.
They made
here.
Wally pretty cool in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Like, no, I'm not gonna say he still steps to Cynthia. She's kind of amazing. Mm-hmm. I'd probably hang out with Blue, though, all the time. I'd just be like, yeah, let's just talk down to all of our opponents. Go Incineroar, you make fun of them, too.
Or like Steven Stone was in there, like just seeing the other champions, that would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. They could pretty much bring in all the gym leaders, all the rivals, all the the characters you could play as, and I'm pretty sure nobody would complain. Like, this feels like the time to really celebrate that history, and so let's just stuff in all these characters, and I'd love to see that.
Yeah, with Pokemon Black and White 2, when they had that one tournament where just a bunch of old gym leaders and Elite Four and like champions and stuff could all show up, like, that was one of my favorite things just ever. Like, I loved that. So, like, the idea that something relatively close to that, even if it's just the champions, like, I'm down. Like, I love seeing, like, I love them connecting this world and being like, hey, here's things, like, people from other regions showing up that you remember. Like, is always a fun thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you could battle besides a gym leader, who would you choose?
Oh, that's a tough one. Blaine always seems silly and fun.
I'd have to go with either Sabrina or Whitney.
Oh, that Miltank.
Oh, yeah,
I'll put that Miltank to good use.
I think battling with Lieutenant Surge would be a lot of fun. Just me, like, he'll have his Raichu and I'll have my lower Raichu. We'll just beat everybody with Raichu.
Nice. It's actually really fascinating to see that they didn't keep Red and Blue at the same age. They've aged up. Like, these guys look like they're, 15, 16 now?
Yeah.
way closer to the fake canon we made for our Nuzlocke age, where they're grown men playing Pokemon.
Man, it is surreal looking at Red and just seeing his design.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the eyebrows or something, but he looks a little scary.
It's that chiseled jaw he's got.
Yeah. I mean, Gary looks the same. I mean, not Gary, I mean Blue.
I mean green, I mean...
We don't... Asshat. Something like that. Whatever his name is. I really like Blue's design. I'm really split on Red's. I don't know why.
Yeah, there's just something. I can't put my finger to it either.
Are his pants shiny? Am I the only one who sees that?
They're kind of shiny. I think they're also scuffed and they might be trying to make it scuffed and dirty. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe they're scuffed and dirty. I was like, is he wearing like plastic pants?
Yeah.
I saran wrapped my pants because I'm so excited for Pokemon here in Alola.
Well, it's just nice that we finally got Red off of Mount Silver.
Yeah, right.
I do like that he's still silent. They even poke fun of that in the trailer. Just still quiet as always, huh, Red? Anyway, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's just get out of here. Oh, that was pretty great. And then, of course, we have the Pokemon leak, which was also shown in that Chinese leak, and it turns out that the mountain that you were looking at with Kukui is where the Pokemon League will take place. And I haven't taken the time yet to try to discover that mountain and see exactly where it is. I think it's on Ula Ula Island, but I'm not sure that because it might just be its own island that you'd go to afterwards. But yeah, it's kind of wild that they're essentially still making the Pokemon League as you're traveling.
I guess because it's so iconic, especially now that they're getting rid of the gyms, they have to be like, well, there's got to be a league, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Something's got to be here. I like the idea of just like I don't know how connected these old champions and stuff showing up is to the fact that they are making the league, but I like the idea that it's just like these washed up old champions all showing up being like, no, I found another region, I'm gonna be the champ, I got it. Like, it's your job to go in and prove you're the champ.
Why can't I never win against these 10-year-olds?
Like, these new kids, they get so good so fast.
It's just not right. But yeah, I mean, I guess that begs the question, who the heck is the Elite Four and the champion going to be?
I mean, it could be Kahili. We still don't know too much about her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Grant and I were talking before this that he believes Kahili is actually the champion of the region.
That would make sense.
With how they describe her as, she's busy off conquering the world, and I feel like every generation of Pokemon game has, like, this one trainer who is traveling around and just seems really good at everything, and turns out they're the champion. Like, I feel like that just the one comment, the only thing we know is, likes to golf, is conquering world. Like, probably champion. Seems like a champion-ish thing to do, be like, yeah, I just won the Elite Four, and now I'm gonna go and let's just knock some balls around in some 18 holes. We got time.
Why not?
Especially since it doesn't seem like there's really any rivals that you have in this game either.
Yeah, not beyond Hal, not that we've seen so far, which is kind of
he
weird.
Picks the starter,
imagine him being the leader, just like, it was me!
Yeah, I can't see Hal being the rival. I can't see... Gladion I can see as kind of a rival, but not somebody that'll be the champion.
Yeah, Gladion I kind of see as like sort of your rival in like Silver was your rival, just showing up and being a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
What if in the champion you have to answer like 18 questions before you get him? Like do like a golf like style pathway to get to him.
Pokemon golf. That would be wild. Oh man, I don't know. I will say this trailer. Like I was hyped before, but give me this game already. I want it. I need it.
Yep.
Get it in my hands.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting news now is Nintendo World is actually offering demos for the last few Saturdays before the game's released.
No, really?
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I'm gonna go check that out. I don't know if it's gonna be similar to any of the demo time that you guys had when you got your hands on it, but if I'm able to check it out this Saturday, I'll let you know.
Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, it seems like they probably let you have like the first, maybe a dedicated section and go through like that. And
yeah, I'm sure it's not gonna be too much really. Just more like just the feel of the battling and stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And man, it's hard to believe that as of tomorrow, 3 weeks.
That is wild, and it makes me so happy that there's so many games that are coming out like right now that I want to play, so they can eat up this time before and make that feel shorter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still praying that I get a review copy for this, and it's not just because of that, but because I have so much work to do with this game, and like I'm basically going to be diving in and playing for hours at a time, trying to discover all the secrets so I can have guides and just these ideas and just tons of stuff ready beforehand, because the last couple of years Pokemon Company has only given us the game on the day of release, which makes that kind of guide work really tricky, and I have to squeeze it in a short amount of time. So I'm hoping for my own sanity that I get this game a little early so I can facilitate everybody. It's like, gee, I wonder where I find this TM, or man, where can I find this Sea Crystal, or how do I catch this legendary Pokemon? It's like, well, here you go.
Oh, speaking of Z Crystal, did we mention the Guardians?
Oh no,
we didn't. Yeah, geez, if there's one thing that's going to endear me to the Guardians is I love that Z attack so much.
Giant light golem body, and then Voltron the head.
And then just your trainer just making the motion of just fist into hand, just like crush him,
destroy him. It's beautiful. I love the look of that move. It is so wild. I love the look on your trainer's face. It is so amazing.
Just the blank happiness.
The glee. Yep. It's like, destroy them. Like
it's like, oh, we all want to be friends and care, but it's just like, no, deep down we want to just smash everyone.
Destroy.
I will not lie. I have totally thought of your Nuzlocke's characterization of Lakiger and Tantor when I saw that animation.
Yeah, just smiling and then just fist into hand, just grind them to dust.
Except that we can't actually kill with this move. It only does 75% of the target's remaining HP. So it's actually best to use this as soon as possible.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's very interesting.
Yeah, it comes from the Pokemon website where they say it's only 75% of the remaining HP. So it's not even just of their total HP, where you can, like, if they're less than 75%, you can kill them. No, it's just taking out that chunk, which is very handy.
No, yeah, that's a solid amount. That's like a better Super Fang.
You could use that to catch Pokemon. Oh, I really want that. I'll just summon the Guardian to just smash them.
That's a really good idea, actually. That's almost perfect. Yeah, there's the use for your Guardian Deity Pokemon. Just use it to catch Pokemon.
I need someone to make a comic of that.
Now, what was your mistake? Getting in your way. Correct. Get in the Pokeball. Just so much to love about this. And real quick, before we wrap this up, do you think Sun and Moon has the potential, and even might, end up being your favorite generation? Because I want to hear, what's your current favorite generation, and do you think this could top it? Corinne?
Are we counting for favorite generation as opposed to like Pokemon and gameplay, or just overall?
Let's do both. Pokemon gameplay and then just overall.
Oh, jeez.
That's a tough one. The Pokemon, like specifically like what Pokemon are added, is always really tough for me, because like whenever a new generation of Pokemon is added, like in my brain they kind of just all occupy one spot. Mm-hmm. Like it's just like these are all the existing Pokemon. Like if I think about it, I would go like, yes, this Pokemon was introduced this generation. But most of the time, I'm just like, no, they are all this big amalgamous clump of Pokemon that all exist together.
Yeah. That's sort of how I view them as well. But I do think the design work of this generation has been exceptional.
I have really liked almost all the designs I have seen for this generation. It will be really tough for me to top, though, like Pokemon Black and White. I feel like its story was so well put together, and they made like the gym leaders and everything like interact with you like throughout later and post-game stuff, and made the world feel way more connected and alive, I feel, than any generation before or since has.
Agreed.
And so I'm really interested to see like if this game could top that. But as far as like just a fan servicey, like here is kind of everything like, you know, the kid in you wants in a Pokemon game, while maybe not maintaining quite the connected integral story, I could totally see this doing that. Like just being like, here's everybody showing up, like look at all these old gym leaders and Elite Four people, and check out these old Pokemon that you've already known and liked, and they get kind of this cool revamp that's not quite a Mega Evolution and is something else entirely. Like, Because X and Y felt like the best fan service game, and I think this will definitely top that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree that Sun and Moon, I'm hoping, will have the best of both worlds, where it's like, I loved Black and White story just as much, and X and Y was great. The story felt a bit flat for me with that one. They sort of recovered it in the anime. But yeah, I'm hoping Sun and Moon has the best of both of those worlds.
Yeah, I will say, like, I'm with you guys. Actually, Gen 5 is my favorite generation. And it is for all those reasons you said. The storyline just was great. It really felt like an interconnected world. Just really good stuff. But I'm looking at Sun and Moon. The story potential is high on this one. Like the mystery of the Ultra Beast, what they're all about, the feel of Alola, and how it's just sort of this different take on things. I can really see a good story coming out of this. Will it be as effective as Black and White? That's hard to say at this point. But overall, and all the things I'm seeing changed and just the freshness of it, this is, I think, has a real attempt to overtake Black and White, in my opinion. As far as my personal favorite.
I'm very hopeful.
Yeah. I would love to see another generation topic, because it's always cool to see, like, well, this was Gen 2 was my favorite. Oh, man, Gen 5. Man, this is my favorite now. This is so good. I love Black and White and Black and White 2. They're so good as companion pieces.
Yeah, they're real cool too.
And then getting to Gen 7, like, okay, we're going to take all this stuff we learned, we're going to put it all together, make some interesting changes, just make it work. Here you go. And I'm like, yes, please.
I don't know like how and why, but I've never really thought about this being Generation 7. But that just sounds ridiculous. Like, now that I think about it, just like, this is the 7th gen. Like,
yeah.
This has been going on for a while. Like, it's its 20th anniversary, but Gen 7 just makes it sound even longer to me.
In a weird way, yeah, it does. It's crazy to think we've gotten this far. Our 7th region, and who knows what else they'll throw in here, what kind of surprises or anything like that, but I'm real hopeful.
I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. Alright, I think that covers it for our Sun and Moon discussion, so thank you for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. And Grant, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at MasterWuggles, and you can find me frequently on YouTube on TFS Gaming and MasterWGS.
Nice. And Corinne?
Twitter too, on Megami33.com.
Nice. Alright. And of course, stay tuned to Game Explained for more on Pokemon and other things gaming too. Until next time, bye.
Aloha!
See ya!